Hello, everyone. I am Miss A.G., Library Assistant at Ruby Young Elementary. I'm going to be reading to you today, with permission from Simon and Schuster Publishers, Frankie Sparks and the Class Pet. It is written by Megan Fraser Blakemore and illustrated by Nadja Sorrell. And this is the book cover. All right, let's begin. And I do want to say that this is a chapter book, so I think those of you who like chapter books will really enjoy this one. Chapter 1, The Big Announcement. Frankie Sparks had a story to share. It was the best story ever. It gurgled in her stomach as she rode the bus to school. It fizzed in her fingers and toes when she and Suki Moskovitz and Maya played Don't Touch the Hot Lava on the playground before school. It threatened to pop up in her mouth like a burp while they put their things away in their cubbies and did their morning work. But she managed to hold on to it all the way until morning meeting. By then, she could barely contain herself. Frankie was in third grade at Grace Hopper Elementary, which was the luckiest place to go to school. Plus, she had the best teacher, Miss Cupid. And her best friend in the whole world, Maya, was in her class. And Miss Cupid even let them be partners 50% of the time. Every Monday at morning meeting, Miss Cupid asked her class to share what they had done over the weekend. So, as soon as Frankie and her 20 classmates crowded down on the rug, Frankie raised her hand as high as she could. She stretched out on her knees and wiggled her fingers, but she didn't say anything, not one word. Her teacher, Miss Cupid, did not like it when kids blurted. And there's a picture of, let's see. Okay, there's a picture of Frankie in her class. Miss Cupid called on Lila Jones, who played with her shoelaces while she launched into a long story about her soccer game and how it had rained and how they had to sit in their cars until the rain ended. Then they got to play the game, and Lila claimed they had won 3-2. But when Suki, who was on the team too, said no, we had tied 3-3. How could you not even know if you had won or tied the game? Frankie wondered. What matters is that both of you played very hard, I'm sure, Miss Cupid said, and were good sports about it. Frankie thought that of course it mattered that they had played hard and were good sports, but it also mattered who won or lost. It was a game after all. You can't really remember if you won or tied, she asked. Frankie, Miss Cupid warned, we're moving on. So Frankie shot her hand up in the air again. Miss Cupid called Luke Winslow, who talked about his soccer game. At least he knew who'd won the other team, but he still went on and on and on. When Luke was done, Frankie shot her hand into the air again, and finally Miss Cupid called on her. We went to see my aunt at the university where she works. She's a rodentologist, and... Excuse me, Frankie, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think some of our friends may not know what a rodentologist is. It's someone who studies rodents. We got to see mice and hamsters and white rats. Frankie took a deep breath. This was the best part of the story. And a capybara. She pronounced the word slowly, just the way her aunt taught her. Capybara. It's like a guinea pig, but it's 4 feet long. Frankie rocked forward. I got to lie down next to it. It was longer than me. There's a picture of it. Cool, Luke exclaimed. Lila wrinkled her nose, but Suki said, wow. Suki almost never said wow. It was usually reserved for things like backhand springs and t-shirts with glitter on them. And of course Maya, Frankie's best friend in the whole wide world, gave Frankie a big grin. "That is so cool, Frankie," Miss Cupid agreed. And then she flipped over the page with the morning message on it and wrote down the word "rodontologist" on the blank piece of chart paper below. She tapped her pointer against the word. What a great vocabulary word. Underneath it she wrote, "biologist." She explained, "A biologist is someone who studies living things. A rodontologist is a type of biologist. They study rodents like mice and rats. Can anyone think of any other types of biologists?" Frankie put her hand up. She knew all kinds of biologists. Miss Cupid called on Luke, who said, "A bugologist?" "Great," Miss Cupid said. Frankie was pretty sure that great was Miss Cupid's favorite word. She used it all the time. A biologist who studies insects is called an entomologist. She wrote that word down on the chart paper in her neat straight print. Anyone else? "Maybe a herpetologist?" Ravi asked. He didn't even stumble over the big word. "Yes," Miss Cupid cheered. "And what's a herpetologist?" "Someone who studies lizards and amphibians." Suki asked, "How about someone who studies fish?" "Oh, terrific, Suki. This is actually one of my all-time top 10 favorite words. Icthologist. Icthologist. Can anyone say that? Not Miss Agee. The class stumbled over the word as they tried to say it back to her. "We'll work on it. We have plenty of time." She put down her pointer and looked right at Frankie. "I'm so glad you shared this today because it's just perfect for something we're going to do later. I was going to tell you after snack, but I think I'll spill my secret now." She smiled and the silver in her braces sparkled. Frankie hadn't even known that grown-ups could wear braces, but Miss Cupid did, and Frankie thought they were as beautiful as her on her teeth as any jewelry. We are all going to be biologists. We're going to study animals. And after we study animals, we're going to have a very important decision to make. She stood up and walked over to a big rectangle covered by bright fabric with paw prints all over it. She pulled the fabric off and revealed a large glass aquarium, just like the one the lizard had lived in Aunt Jeannie's lab. "Friends," she announced, "we are going to research different types of animals because we are going to have a class pet."